The second last guest today is from Finland. He has been patiently waiting all day to get on this live chat. MiQuatro, how is life in Finland? How are you doing? And how is the new Trackmania for you?
Well, overall, I'm feeling really good, and it's good to be back after a long time talking to you in an interview. So that's really cool after a long time, and all is good in Finland. Not
All
not
good
not
in
too
Finland.
not too many corona cases anymore, so it's pretty much under control here.
Yeah, the same thing here. It's sad to talk about Matt about the Brazil, but I guess sometimes you draw a lucky ticket and you are born in the Nordic countries, right?
Yeah.
Playing much disc golf lately?
Yeah, actually, I just played today one round with the famous Dignitas Insane.
And who won it?
Insane, of course. He's better than me. But I will catch up.
Good. Yeah, we need a Trackmania tournament in disc golf and not only bowling because, I mean, I'm used to winning one thing, so I can probably win two things. But let's talk about the new Trackmania. That's why people are here. If you want to do a disc golf podcast, we can do that another day. But tell people, what is your first impression of the new Trackmania?
Well, overall, I feel really good about the game, and it's amazing to see how the game has come out when they released it. Like the graphics and the gameplay and the new blocks are really cool that they made, and at least for me, it makes me want to play the game more and more all the time. So I'm kind of like really hooked on it, and really want to learn all the new tricks and blocks and how they work.
Yeah, you're playing track of the day. You seem to have some success there. Is this the game that you are going to dominate in? Is it finally time to actually get a new Nordic player in the top scene?
Well, if I don't choke, because that has been my problem so far, getting to the LAN events and then choking when it counts. So hopefully that would be the case in this game. But I will need a lot of training on the new blocks and also on the new environments, like on the ice. Like the ice is way different story. Lot to learn there.
You're from Finland. You should be used to the ice if I want to be stereotypical here.
Yeah, but I need ice skates for that
But
and a hockey stick and a puck.
yeah, I talked now. You're my seventh guest, so I then talked to a lot of people now, saying what they feel about it. Do you agree with maybe Kapada saying that if you are looking at this from outside the esport world and outside the gameplay, that this game maybe looks half finished? Are you maybe more positive about the future for this game? What is your feeling about the game overall?
Uh, it's hard to see for a veteran player when you have played so much Trackmania already, so you kind of know where to find all the different kind of things like options or anything like that. Go to make a own track or something like that. So for me, it really hasn't been a problem. But from an outside perspective, I would say it's like the UI is missing some really key points. Like how do you when you're a new player, can you find the options when it's hidden in the top bar or stuff like that. And also, when you're new to the game, there is really no any tutorial maps where the game would teach you like what buttons you would need to press to drive the car, or how to drift, or how everything else works, like respawning, etc. So I think that would be a really cool addition to the game, that there would be, like, when you start the game, there would be instantly a tutorial map, like, do you want to play this? And it would have some kind of hints while you drive it and tell you what can you do and how to drive the car.
Yeah, I also agree there, and I also think that is one of the problems I have because we are so much inside this Trackmania bubble that we don't really get the view from a casual fan about what they think about it. We can have some sort of vision about it, but we don't really know. Do you think that maybe that is a problem for the game developers as well? They have now worked on Trackmania since 2003. That maybe in the back of their head they're like pre-consuming, or like they think that people should know this, but in reality, if a new player comes in, maybe they don't know where to find how to play online, how to build a map, and how to actually drive in Trackmania.
Yeah, I would imagine that that is some kind of a part of the issue. Like, there is not that much tutorials or any kind of, how to say it, taking account like really new players to the game. So all of the stuff that there is at the moment at the game, I think it's much easier to find for a veteran player and not for the new player. So I think that is maybe part of the issue that they are like what's the word? Well, I don't remember the word, but they're already like they're assuming that you know the game already.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't know the word either. I was also going to ask it in the question, but hey, that's the downside to not being fluent in English.
Yeah.
But if you look at yourself as a player, it's a new game you have played it for now a week. If you're just to compare yourself on a skill level to the new Trackmania and then Trackmania 2 Stadium, do you feel that you're already catching up to the MiQuatro that was Trackmania 2 player? Do you still feel that there are some weeks and some hours to go before you feel as confident as you did in Trackmania 2 Stadium?
I think I have to take some more hours on the game to get on the same level as I was in TM2. At least on the multi-style tracks because of the new blocks and the new surfaces. But on the tech kind of tracks, I think there is a new tech tournament coming up, the Aum Cup. What's that called? I'm not sure, but I have tried those maps and they feel quite the same as the usual tech maps that was in the TM2, except of course the car feels different. It's a bit heavier. So I would say there's still few hours to not few hours, but some days to get at least on the same level.
Yeah.
But it's a whole different story on the multi-style maps because I'm not that used to those kind of maps yet.
But that is
Well,
like, if
yeah.
you look at the upcoming events, this Serati event, that is a whole different ballpark in terms of maps. And then you have Trackmania Grand League, which hopefully you will play in the Open Grand League. Are you, if I asked all the players this today as well, if you were to look at those events, which event are you aiming to do the best at? I've seen you playing both of them up, so tell people, are you aiming to do well in both? Is there some event that you pick out as, yeah, this is finally my chance to shine through and get my big breakthrough?
Well, I have driven already all the CRT maps through, and I I would say I'm not that strong on those yet. And it's still 1 week, and the qualification weekend is so. I'm not so sure about that, but I will definitely take part in that tournament and try to train as much as possible these few days I have still for the next weekend. Like not this weekend, but the next one. And when it comes to OGL, I think that is the main tournament for me. Like I'm gonna really put effort on those tracks and try to learn them as best as I can, so I can get to the combine and maybe in the future in the TMGL, because that just would be really awesome.
I think that will be really awesome, of course, for you as a player, because then you compete against the best players in the world. But I think that is something. If Nadeo could pick, I guess they had to pick a player from the Nordics, and then, of course, why not pick the best player in you? And think that's going to be great for the Nordic scene, because then you have someone to cheer for. We have Riolo playing for a Norwegian org, but yeah, that is not necessarily a Norwegian player. So, of course, get a Nordic player in there. Do you think that you are the front runner for being the best Nordic player? Do you think that you are eventually gonna be the guy, if there is a guy, to actually come in from the Nordic scene into Trackmania Grand League?
After TM2, I would say that I'm the front runner of Nordic players, but now when it comes to the new game, I can't really say it because I haven't really seen how everyone does there. So we will see that in OGL at least if there is any other Nordic players taking part.
And a good question from SRK there. How do you think this development of the Finnish scene, is there a potential for newcomers once there is a new game? Do you think that a new game can maybe give some sparks to old players to come back? Do you think that this game can eventually help communities outside of France and then your own Finnish community?
Well, I definitely hope so that the new game brings new players in Finland, and I have also seen, like when I have played the summer campaign maps, there has been some new unfamiliar names in the records. So at least there are some new players at least, and I hope they will try to compete in the tournaments and getting to know the new game and try to enjoy it, and from that uh, become even better in the game and join me in the high ranks of Finland and Nordic countries.
Eventually knocking you down
Actually,
from the...
there is some not newcomer but who made a comeback, and that's Cloney.
Oh,
He
really?
bought the game, and we have been talking to each other about the maps and stuff. So some
Are you
old face coming back.
are you afraid of your position as the best player in Finland?
Not at the moment because he was he he once was the teacher for me, but I think the roles has changed now because he has been so long time away from the game. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of teaching him now the
Mm.
ropes of the new game.
Yeah, but I also think it's cool that all players are coming back. But like I mentioned in the video I made about pack streaming with Circa, I think this is a perfect opportunity to get young people into the game, because if you remember back to let's say when I was 16, then I had a lot of free time. But now that I'm getting closer to 30 than 20, I have less free time. Do you think that maybe people are too much hyped about all players? Like, yeah, I want Frostbuild to come back, but if I had to be honest, I would rather pick a new player to come up and being dominated instead of Frostbuild coming back and maybe being semi-professional.
Yeah, I agree with that. It would be cool to see new faces like we saw Gwen. He has been doing really good, and he has developed really fast to be a really good player. So it's also awesome to see some new faces challenging the veterans of the game.
A question from the chat. Mental Peak is asking, what is the best block and why is it ice?
It's actually quite fun block. Like when there is a flowy ice map that is done really well, it feels like you are going down the ice with the sled. The car just goes automatic, and you have to just turn a bit and stuff like that. But at first, I got a bit mad about the ice because I didn't get it. And when there was the new track of the day that was whole track was made of ice, I and it was made good, so it was good map to learn the ice, and I quite enjoyed it. But when it comes to the favorite block, that's a tough question. It's definitely not the reactor boost or those, but maybe I would pick the ice. Yeah, I think it's new, it's fun to train, and it's enjoyable. So I think I would pick ice.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that is something. I mean, in Trackmania 2 Stadium, you had a lot of specialists. You had a dirt specialist in Papu, you had a full speed specialist in Muda, you had tech in Kappa, Carl Jr., etc., etc. And now players have to learn a new environment. So maybe once you get into an ice part on Trackmania Grand League, you're like, oh, now MiQuatro comes into the ice, now he's going to overtake. Do you maybe think that you're going to use the advantage to maybe grind the ice more than others and see this as a potential to maybe get an upper hand on people that has learned tech like Carl Jr. for essentially 10 years?
Nah, I don't think I will no life ice. I like it, but I won't no life it. I will like drive it when I have to and
Yeah.
enjoy it. Like nowadays, most of the maps are multi-style, so there's definitely gonna be tech parts or dirt parts or ice parts. So I'll try to sign on every one of them.
The last topic for me is that before the game was out, I did a lot of different tweets about who would you like to see as the big streamers, who would you like to see of the players streaming the game. I mentioned you as one of the players I would like to see streaming the game. And hey, now the new game is out. Now MiQuatro's streams. Can you tell people how are you enjoying the streaming scene of Trackmania?
I'm actually enjoying a lot. Like it's fun to stream, and when there is some guys chatting in the chat and interacting with them, it's really fun and it's really fun to show them like how you drive the game and how good you are also on the game. And actually, I have thought about starting the stream quite some time now since TM2, when there were these tournaments like Zero to Hero or some team tournaments that I should like stream for a couple of hours when I train the maps or something like that. But I just never did that. And now when there's the new game, I thought maybe this is the time for a new chapter for me and start doing streaming. And here we are streaming.
And one of the good things about you, as I mentioned that in the podcast I did with you now, is way back that you have a unique nickname. You have a nickname that sticks out. You have the same Twitter handle. You have the same handle on Twitch. That's MiQuatro. So it's easy to find you. You don't have to like switch from underscore TM2 or put TM in front of your name. So if people want to find you, it's easy, right?
Yeah, unique name and a good one as well.
Yeah, like I said, maybe the potential for best nickname out there. But
Maybe
any Finnish?
best nickname of the year.
Maybe. I mean, I'm hosting my own Trackmania awards this time, so I don't need to be reluctant on a jury. I mean, if you give me an FD, like I said, I will give you all the awards.
All right, I will buy you Koskenkorva, so that's the deal.
But yeah, I appreciate you taking the time. And for people that want to follow you, when are you streaming Trackmania? Is it when you feel like it? Is it a set schedule? Is it set dates?
Yeah, at the moment I don't really have any schedule since I'm working during the day, so I only have time in the evening. So usually I will post on Twitter when I'm live, but maybe tomorrow or at least on Friday.
And once again, I appreciate you taking the time and see you at the next disc golf tournament there, so I can
Oh,
finally win something again. I mean, this lockdown, I cannot even win a bowling tournament and have to play disc golf by myself.
yeah, always a pleasure to be here talking with you on the interview.
That's it for MiQuatro. The next interview is with Riolo. That interview was pre-recorded, so if you want to ask him some questions, unlucky, but you can send them in and maybe I'll bring them up on a podcast. But Riolo is the last interview for today, and I guess tell me if you liked it, tell me if you disliked it, and give me some feedback on that. And shout out to G Geek for being the guy who's hosted it. And once again, a pleasure talking to you, MiQuatro. A little break now, and then I guess Riolo is the next one up.